My name is Felix, Lord Felix. I'm a comrade. That is the most important title I've ever held in my life so far. I served as the president of Student Council in KU 2013-2014. So I'm a retired president, commander-in-chief of an armed forces of comrades. I joined AYLF in 2010, when I was just joining campus. That's the first time I met Gabriel at the, I was a student of law at KU, and we became friends. Then I was not even a student leader. 2 years down the line, I vied for office, and God was kind and I won. And that is when I first came to appreciate the unique strengths that being in this network gave me as a person. And so that I do not make these so theoretical, I'm going to use stories, just 2 stories to illustrate it, and I'll sit down. You, as Dean of Students, you definitely know what student leaders go through. It's a very stressing position, especially the president or chairman and the secretary general and members of the executive. We are at a place where you have to balance student interests, which will always be extremely straining. Because as a student, I would want a Lamborghini to come and pick me from the dormitory and take me to class. But university resources cannot give me that. And on the other hand, once in a while I sit in the management senate, in the executive committee of the senate, and so on every daily basis, I interact with the strain of resources that the university is going through. So I have to mediate these 2 entities. My loyalty lies with the people who elected me, because my position is political in the first place, and so my loyalty lies with them. I'm more inclined to listen to what the students want than to understand the fact that there's a limitation of resources, that I need to understand that some things cannot happen. So in such a situation, we have seen over the last 4 or 5 years, many universities closing down because of strikes, because student leaders have gone on rampage and destroyed property, graduation calendars being disrupted and all that. I'm very proud of one thing about my tenure. For the 1 year that I was president in KU, there was no strike. We never demonstrated. But it doesn't mean that it was all rosy. In fact, I did have a good relationship with my Vice Chancellor, and Gabriel here is going to confirm to you that I had a very strained, almost always antagonistic relationship with the management, but it remained very respectful from both sides. I would stand up for my position, they would stand up for their position. If we disagreed, we disagreed, right? If we agreed, we agreed. But a year into that, a year past that relationship, I graduated from campus and went out. I still keep contact with my Vice Chancellor, then Professor Mgenda. Actually, something amazing that has just happened, and this is part of my testimony. All of us know about Saiton, right? The real estate company. So they've just incorporated a subsidiary to get into the education space. So they're targeting to do primary, tertiary, and vocational and university education. So they've incorporated a company, and the Vice Chancellor, Professor Mgenda, happens to be the executive chairman, and I sit on the board of that company. But we never agreed. Gabriel will remember one day he came to KU, And I had organized a conference, you know, invited people, spent a lot of student money, and then I walked into her office and she said, this conference cannot go on because the chief guest that you're bringing on Wednesday is expected to come here a month later, and when he comes a month later, he's supposed to give us 100 million shillings. I can't allow you to bring him here because he'll have an excuse not to come. So I looked at her and said, you know what? This conference is going to go on. That is your 100 million way ndafanya nini? Tafuta. Well, in the end, we found our way out of this whole situation. But what AYLF gave me was three things. And that is what I want to talk about. First thing is a listening ear. Because sometimes you just want to find somebody that you can talk to. And for me, Gabriel came to school every Wednesday to just listen to me. Because we were going through very, very tumultuous time at that time. There was a lot of influence from national politics. There was a lot of influence internally. And a lot of issues about resources and all that. And I was a very young person. I was elected to the office when I was just about to turn 23. And you're in charge of a budget of 42 million shillings, in charge of 70,000 students. By all means, I was not experienced, except extremely raw ambition that needed to be refined here and there. So Gabriel came, he did not tell me what to do. He didn't even solve any of my problems, by the way. But he just came every Wednesday and we had lunch and I told him, I'm trying to do this, so-and-so is not listening, so-and-so. And in the process of talking, you realize that you have had your own reflection and you have a way of approaching things. The second thing that AYLF gave me was networks. And that is what helped my tenure. And again, I'll use an example. Sometimes around May, in 2014, I believe, well, not May, in August, students resumed studies and there was no help money coming. You know, August, September, and we are almost approaching October, and that became a crisis. Government is not disbursing funds. Now, I want you to try and appreciate the distinction in approach here. We had a number of student leaders across the country. One group chose to go and camp at HELB and throw stones at anniversary towers. But then I called the CEO of HELB, Charles Ringera, and he told me, you know, Felix, I'm a cashier. If I'm given money, I disburse it. I don't have business doing what? Sitting with your money here. So you might need to ask questions to the right people. Not necessarily me. And so we reached out to the PS Finance. We reached out to the Minister of Education. They were not helping. And students were going to demonstrate. So what I did, through a network that AYLF had given me, at that time, the chairperson of the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, Dr. Vimal Shah, I approached him and told him, you know, Chief, you're the chairman of businesses, and we are going to block the roads if you don't do what? If you don't intervene. And he reached out to the presidency, and instructions were given down. And we were told on Monday, the day you're supposed to demonstrate, you're going to do what? You're going to be given money. So on Friday evening, I confirmed with Ringera that yes, Central Bank has released cash. It has gone to Citibank, which is the one that disburses to the other banks. But on Monday, all my peers were going to the road. And in as much as you will tell them, I have this confirmation, nobody's going to believe you. And students will not believe promises. They want money in their bank. So that Friday, I went to Equity Bank head office. I happened to have gone through the Equity Bank system, so I knew a couple of people. I went and talked to the operations manager, and he sent me to the person in charge of help, called Namasake. And then I told him, you know what, my friend, I need you to save me, okay? I have gone through a lot of lengths to just get this money released. So can you just expedite the process a little bit? And he told me I'm going to request a list from Citibank. If it comes on soft, Monday morning at 6:30, I promise you, I'll disburse money to student accounts. So on Monday morning at around 6:30, KU students, at least those who are in Equity Bank, got their cash. Then I went to social media and said, now you know if you're in Equity Bank, your money has come, okay? If you're in Cooperative Bank, please just give me 2 more hours. I of course didn't have any network in Coop Bank, but I knew the cash. I knew the cash would come nonetheless. But I wouldn't have the confidence to do that. I wouldn't know that I can choose not to throw a stone and instead talk to somebody else to intervene if I had not gone through a process of training, if I had not been given access to that network. Some of these student leaders, as I conclude, can be really of extreme help to your work as deans of students and to the university management.